Hey everyone, Conor Henricks here at Golden Fly Shop. Today we're doing some shop ties. I'm going to be tying a mayfly emerger pattern, one of my favorites. Very simple, quick guide tie. Has characteristics of the Cheesman Emerger, very similar to some of the WD-40s that we see. I tie this fly in sizes 16 through about 24. Some on the bigger sizes for our western slope rivers, and obviously some smaller for the South Platte drainage. The hook we've chosen is a 2487. I'm gonna go ahead and put a fresh one in here for you guys. I got a 1/16 mottled brown bead. Our thread choice is a Semperfli Nano Silk 12/0 and olive. Semperfli's been the Semperfli Nano Silk in specific has been a shop favorite. It's a fantastic thread. It's super strong and it doesn't build up on the body very easily. All right, we start by just tying in our thread behind the bead there, moving it down the hook shank to about so. We'll trim out our excess. Next, we're gonna do Coq De Leon for our tailing fiber. This is a light ginger color. I like to grab about 8 fibers or so. And when we tie this in, we're gonna give our bobbin one twist counterclockwise. And what that does is when I go to perform a loose wrap here, it's gonna keep that thread over center of the shank. Sometimes when we do the loose wraps, the thread will want to move over the eye of the hook or kind of move the other way, and counter spinning that thread prevents that. And what we've done is we've just put 2 loose wraps on this Coq De Leon, which allows the fibers to just kind of sit on top of the shank. And now I can measure them. Instead of trying to tie it right in at a specific length, I like to do this. It's a little bit quicker and friendlier. I'm going to leave my tailing fibers a little bit longer. I'm going to bring that thread all the way back here to about the bend of the hook. And while I'm doing this, I'm keeping that Coq De Leon leaning towards me to prevent the thread tension from twisting it. After we've got it in place there, we'll trim out our excess CDL. And we'll go ahead and build ourselves a little body there. Bringing the thread up to behind the bead. And I'll go ahead and build a little thread dam there, starting my head and preventing that bead from sliding back. One more time down the hook shank here, just to ensure that we've covered everything up and we have a nice, clean, thin body. Coming back up to about so. Next, we're going to incorporate our wing material. Glamour Madeira has a bad reputation of being a very hard material to find. Come by Golden Fly Shop, we'll be sure to have a good stock of it. When I work with my Glamour Madeira, I'm going to moisten it one time. It is a woven material, so that kind of keeps it all sticking together. Similar to that Coq De Leon, we're going to rotate this bobbin clockwise one time. And with one loose wrap, we'll tie in our Glamour Madeira, another one just to hold it in place. Now, all we want to do is make sure this Glamour is going right over the back of the hook shank. And once we're satisfied with that, we'll go ahead and trim out our excess. A few thread wraps to make sure that's secure, as well as help build our head. So I'm going to bring the thread back to the tie-in point right there. Next, we're going to grab our dubbing wax. A little bit of that on there. For our dubbing, I've chosen a Superfine in BWO. There's a lot of fine dubbings that we have here inside the store that would work just fine. The biggest part is that we use the right amount. We see a lot of flies that are tied that are just overdubbed. And with dubbing, less is more. I'm going to start with literally a pinch, and by a pinch, I mean I'm talking a fraction of just this. We can always add more. I'm rotating that dubbing on to our thread here, making a nice tight dubbing rope. And as I mentioned, we can always add more. And once we're satisfied with the proportions and the size of our thorax that we've built there, we're just going to go ahead and throw a whip finish. What I'm doing here is I'm bracing the eye of the hook as I pull the thread to tighten down my dubbing or my whip finish. That way I know that knot is nice and secured. Now I can trim out my excess and the rest of my thread there. When we trim our wing, I want to err on a little bit of the longer side. Just like a haircut, we can always take more out. But overall, we want to end with a little bit of a smaller wing. This does not need to be very pronounced or overwhelming on the fly. And I do so by pulling straight up, measuring that about the size of my thorax. And there she is. Very easy mayfly emerger guide tie. You can spin up a dozen of these and be on the water in the morning. Thanks for watching, guys.